Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. My name is Josh, and I run the GPU Abuse website and channel. Today, I'm super excited about this video. Today, we are checking out a knife that is made by a Russian dude that runs a company that goes by the name of Atropos. We're checking out the Atropos Demon. This knife is very legit. So a little bit about the company. From what I read, they started over 25 years ago. This dude's father made a knife company. The son ended up taking it over, and they've been making knives ever since. I definitely suggest that you guys check them out on Instagram because they post some seriously unique content. You'll see knives that you've never even dreamed of before. So if you're a knife type of dude or chick or whatever, definitely check them out. You can see their little hashtag there, Atropos knife. This is the box that it came in, obviously, but I have been playing with the Balisong for about a day and a half now. So this came from Russia. It took about 2 weeks to arrive to the US. I live in Ohio. Yeah, pretty cool. So when we open it up here, you'll notice that, I just got the Balisong chilling in there. It did come with a bunch of that Easter grass, bunny grass, whatever you want to call it, packaged in there, really pretty but my cat already got into it and I didn't want him to eat it all, so I took it out. But I want to keep the box because it's a nice, cool little memorabilia. Is that a proper term? I get sidetracked so easily. So here it is. This is the Atropos Demon Zen pin construction. Runs off of bushings. Might as well get the stats out of the way real quick. I got the website up to help me out, but uses D2 steel, a 60 HRC, which if you're unfamiliar with that, that is a really good steel. Pretty much only seen in higher end knives. So it's really cool to see that in a Balisong. Titanium milled handles. So talking about the handles here, how you can see they have little holes in them. Pretty cool. Blade thickness of 3.8 millimeters. Blade length of 110 millimeters. The full length is 265 millimeters. Stainless bushings, bronze washers, stainless latch, which I have removed, and a weight of 5.9 ounces, which is a little heavy for a Balisong, but you'll see here in a second why that doesn't bother me one bit. So now that we got all that exciting stuff out of the way, I want to actually go over pretty much everything I just said. So the handles are nice and long, and the blade itself, look at that grind is just fantastic. Absolutely beautiful finish on it. Comes out of the box incredibly crazy sharp. This has now taken the #1 spot of the sharpest knife that I have ever owned. I actually cut myself. I don't want to really make myself seem lame here, but I actually cut myself taking this out of my pocket because obviously I removed the latch, which if you're flipping a Balisong, usually you're taking the latch off. That's one of the first things that you do. But yeah, I reached in my pocket and cut my pinky fairly good. Video on Instagram, but I'll probably show a little clip of it here. Like I said before, it runs off of Zen pins and actually has washers in there, so that really helps as far as like keeping the handle play down to a minimum. So if we check that out right now, you can see I'm wiggling it with a fair amount of pressure, and yeah, there's not much handle play. Now I have fully disassembled this knife already, and the first time I unscrewed the pivots here, they were pretty stuck into place, so that leads me to believe that there is a Loctite of some form in there, probably blue, but I didn't see anything on the threads, so it's really hard to tell. But they were fairly snug in there. Same thing with the latch. All the hardware was very secure, but not too difficult to remove if need be. When I did disassemble it, I had a hell of a time getting the pivots back in, so keep that in mind. These are custom made knives. To my knowledge, he makes them as you order them, and it takes him like a couple days. So yeah, the pivots were hard in my case to get back in there. That might not be the same case for you. Maybe I was just noobing it up, but yeah, this knife is actually really, really beautiful. You can see it's engraved. Let me get a close-up here. As you guys know, I'm a pretty shaky dude, so it has their little butterfly logo on there with D2. I'm gonna assume that's laser engraved. Really cool. Nice factory edge. And that grind is just fantastic. Super, super sharp. You can see the thickness of the blade itself is just whopping. You can see the washers in there, and it does have bushings in the blade as well. I don't know if it mentioned that in the specifications or not. The titanium handles, they almost feel like aluminum. It's kind of surprising because they just have an aluminum feel to them, which is kind of bizarre, being titanium feeling like aluminum. I don't know if it's the finish on it or what, but really, really cool grind on it. So pretty much, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos and you're not too knowledgeable about Balisongs, Zen pin basically means that the blade has little notches in it that stop the handles from going any farther. So that little notch in the back, see, it will only go so far. Instead of having pins, which, just for a visual representation here, see, this has pins that physically stop the handles on both sides. This has just the blade that physically stops the handles from going any farther. So pretty cool stuff. Just as a size comparison, because a lot of people have the Alpha Beast here. You can see that the Demon is a fair amount longer. Not too much thicker though, as far as the handles go. Pretty cool. Longer handles and a longer blade. Nice channeled design. So pretty much what channeled means is that the handles are made out of one hunk of whatever material they decide to use. In this case, it's titanium. So one big old whopping piece of titanium instead of two separate pieces, as seen here. So as soon as I got this knife, I was thrilled to open it. I was super excited. I didn't know what to expect, and after handling it for a little over a day, I am extremely pleased with how this knife performs. I've been flipping my Alpha Beast for a long time now, and it's my EDC, or everyday carry. It's a knife that I use all the time and flip all the time, but this here is a strong competitor to being my personal EDC. This might be the one. The round handles on it makes it really easy to fan, and keep in mind, I'm not a professional flipper. I've only been doing it for probably 4 months or so, but I love it. I love it. So one thing, before we get into any flipping, I want to show you the balance of it. So This is going to be janky because I'm just going to be doing it with my finger, but it's right about in between the two. Oh, that's difficult. Yeah, there we go. Right about there. All right, so right about there is where the balance is, which is really neat because if you do chaplains or what have you, super easy. It practically hugs your finger. That's what she said. Doesn't take any effort to do those chaplains. And the same thing goes, I was surprised by this, but the same thing goes for 0G. So I'm not very good at this, and it's really hot, so my hands are sticky. Pro tip, I use dry shampoo to get the moisture off my hands so I can, flip without it sticking. Yeah, it's pretty good. Put a little elbow into it there. And I'm not even good at 0G chaplains, and this is beginner level stuff, and I'm doing all right, or at least I like to think so. So that's cool. That's actually really, really cool. Another thing is, with the rounded handles, it fans like crazy. And again, I'm not good at really flipping. I haven't been doing it for that long, but the fanning is insane on this. See if I'm in focus here. Yeah, it's not bad. It practically fans itself out, and I'll show you why. I mean, not only because of the balance point, but I'll show you here in a bit. So it's actually really fun to use because you can almost watch when to flip it, where with the Alpha Beast it's a lot more difficult. You got to be paying attention because it has the blocky ass handles, and you just got to really pay attention to time it out perfectly. When is the appropriate time to fan? So if I sit here and go like just with my fingers and not really putting any force into my elbow, like not doing a crazy like one of those, just with my fingers here, you can see, that's something, but you got to time it out really good, Where with this, it's one of those things where it practically fans itself. And if I do the same exact thing with just my fingers, I don't know if you can tell, but I can feel a difference as far as just how precise and how fast, and you can stop it and it stays right in that area. And the handles are free flowing. That wasn't because it was sticking. That was just because the whole balance of it, which is crazy to think about. So pay attention here. Like that, all right? So I'm gonna just pay attention right here. Watch. I'm leaning, I'm pushing, tilting, and blah. Alright? I'll do it one more time. Tilt. And right about there. Alright? Now watch with this one. Right? So I have it in the same exact position. Now watch. I'll start tilting it. Tilting. And I can feel the difference already. Right about there. Alright? See? It's practically doing it already. Right about there. And that is why it's so good at fanning. Because as soon as you start tilting it, it's lifting up. Falls right about there. Pretty big difference. Pretty big difference. And I'll show you, if you aren't holding on to both handles, it pretty much comes up by itself, right? See that? So you can have a lot of fun with that. You can just time the fans and the rotations out to do really unique combos. If you've been flipping for a while, you could really do some neat stuff with that. I could keep it like this all day long. No problem. No problem. Which is really cool. So, a little sound test here. I'll shut up for a second. And might as well do some flipping. It does do rollovers, again, pretty much by itself. You don't even need to think about it. You pretty much got them every single time. Got a little bit of air on that one. Woo! Good catch. Still warming up a little bit. But if you look at the handle, you can see that it raises up quite frequently. So you gotta, if you want to land the trick, you gotta really grab onto both handles. Which is not a bad thing. Still warming up here. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta have fun with it, you know? Let it go in whatever direction it takes you. This thing would be, if I knew how to do choker fans, this thing would be a beauty for that. And I'll keep you guys updated, you know, as far as, obviously, later when I progress with a few more tricks, I will do an updated video for you, but so far this has been a really, really fun knife to play with, and like I said, it might end up being my EDC. The guy who makes these shows off him physically cutting wood and doing other cutting activities with it just to show the durability of it, but this one's really fun, and believe it or not, it's been keeping me away from flipping my Alpha Beast. Not that the Alpha Beast is bad, I don't want to say that, but just because it's fun. It's very fun to flip this. It practically flips itself. There it is. That was nice. I haven't tried any aerials with it, and that's mainly for the fact that I'm not super confident with those yet. But I could imagine that this would just really do those well too. Wouldn't even be able to tell you a downside to this knife other than maybe the hardware, you know, being difficult to reassemble, but I'm sure if I cleaned it up it wouldn't be that big of a deal. No signs of stripping whatsoever, which we'll do a close-up here in a bit, but really, really fun Balisong to flip. A little bit of wear on the handles, and that's just from me using it. I haven't dropped it on concrete, only on carpet, so I don't know. I'm not, when it comes to like scratches or anything, I don't get upset with that kind of stuff. Just shows that you're using the Balisong. I think it adds character. And then that grind is just fantastic. Like a Tonto style tip to it. Super, super cool. You can tell that this is made by someone who really takes knife making seriously. Alright, we could try to do an ultra close-up. But usually my ultra close-ups are pretty shaky. Try to get that tip. Yeah, that is so cool. That is a clean grind. There. I apologize for how shaky that is. I wish I wasn't so damn shaky all the time. And of course, when I'm not shaky, it's not in the light, so go figure. Yeah, that is a clean grind. And then how about the handle material? There you have it, right there. Titanium. That is just beautiful. It does feel texturized, and maybe that's why I'm thinking aluminum. But let's see if we can't see the pivots, just to see if there are any signs of stripping. Surprisingly enough, it actually fits the T9 bits, so take that with what you will. Most of the time it's T10, so I don't know. That was kind of unique. I tried sticking a T10 in there and it was way too big. Thought I seen the logo there for a second. Right there. That is beautiful, man. Crazy. I just love the grind marks on this knife. See if we can't see the spine. Because it actually has a crowned, I forgot to mention that. It does have a crowned spine to it. So basically all that means is that the back of the knife is nice and rounded off. Yeah, that is seriously rounded, huh? Look at that. That's the best yet. I didn't even notice there's a line down the center of it. That's cool. That's definitely rounded off though. And then that edge, you can see my skin particles hanging off of it just from touching it earlier. It's crazy, man. Crazy sharp. Yep, that puppy is sharp tip there. I would describe it as a Tonto style blade, personally, but that handle material texture is just so cool because it's grippy but not too much, you know? Super cool. Alright, let me get you guys back into orientation here. Other than that, I think I've pretty much got it all covered. Again, I'll probably do an updated video a little bit later as I use it for longer than a day and a half, but I'd strongly suggest this knife. If you're kind of on the fence about it, do it, because whatever you think this knife flips like, or whatever you think it feels like, you have no idea. No idea. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like I said, it's definitely close, if not going to take the spot of my EDC over my Alpha Beast. Very cool, very cool. So, with that being said, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in that comment section. Don't forget to check out Atropos knife.ru. And yeah, I look forward to flipping this bad boy, and look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. So I really do appreciate you, and I hope to see you next time. Adios.